A group of terrorists dressed up in Afghan army uniforms opened fire on a NATO security force. One German soldier was killed, 14 others injured. Jim Sciutto has been digging into this story. He's found out more. What can you tell us, Jim?
Hi, Carol. Thanks. And when you came to me before, I was actually on the phone speaking to the Pentagon. Let me tell you what we know now. So first of all, this took place at an Afghan National Security Forces, ANSF facility just outside of Kabul, the capital of Afghanistan. It's called Camp Karga. I'm told that there were multiple casualties, no deaths confirmed at this point, but a very serious incident there involving soldiers or attackers rather dressed up as Afghan soldiers. And Carol, as you know, there have been a number of incidents like this over recent years where attackers or even sometimes members of the Afghan security forces, whether soldiers or police officers, turn their guns on coalition forces, including Americans. There have been a number of deaths. And this has been an increasing problem inside the occupation there for coalition forces. We don't know yet at this point. It sounds more like at this point these were attackers dressed up as members of the military as opposed to actual members of the military who turned their guns, but still a very serious threat inside those security forces, which, as you know, Americans, coalition forces have been training at great cost, great effort, great risk for a number of years now.
I also have Tom Fuentes on the phone. He's former FBI director and our security analyst. And Tom, if what Jim said is true, that these were a group of terrorists dressed up in Afghan army uniforms and not Afghan army personnel who turned, how did they get into this British security facility?
Hi, Carol. Well, we don't know for sure how far in, they were able to penetrate or whether this was on a perimeter, but Jim is absolutely right. We've had cases in the past where it's been actual members of the Afghan police, actual members of their military. So at this point, whether they're in Afghan uniforms or not, I think it might be premature to say that they absolutely were terrorists masquerading as soldiers. They may be actual soldiers, which is worse. These are the people we're training. These are the people we're going to turn the country over to very soon. And a good portion of both the military and the police have been infiltrated by the Taliban, or people in those services turned and now have either become sympathetic or actual members of the Taliban. And it just is a bad omen for the future of what's going to happen in that country when you can't trust their security services.